welcome back to our Community Talk segment with our focus on San Fernando. It's our sixth segment of Community Talk, so you all know the drill. We are going to introduce our panel of experts. Saran, I'll introduce the front row and you'll take the back.
Fantastic.
All right, great. So in the front row, we have Miss Daphne Bartlett. She's president of the San Fernando Business Association. Then we have Mr. Darren Rahman. He's the vice chairman of the San Fernando Center for Displaced Persons. Then we have WPC Ayum. She's from the Community Police Unit Southern Division. And we have Mayor of San Fernando, Mr. Junior Regrello.
We also have with us a former national cyclist, Anthony Kamizyong, if the name sounds familiar. He was a celebrity back in his days. Great to have you, Mr. Kamizyong. We've also got Keith Belgrove, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Belgrove's group of companies. Next to him, we've got Nadia Goodman, things to do in South Trinidad. And last but by no means least, we've got Kiran Singh, who's the president of Greater San Fernando Chamber of Commerce. Everyone, welcome.
I don't know if you all noticed, but we have heads of two business groups.
Oh, yeah.
So I'd like to start on the business front, okay? So just a couple months ago, we had a UNC Senator, Tahako Bika, saying that San Fernando, business in San Fernando is suffering. He said, well, the mayor, on the other hand, is saying that San Fernando is ripe for business.
Which is it?
Yeah, which is it? Suffering, ripe for business?
I would say suffering. Just this week we had a meeting, and some of the businesses out on High Street for like decades, they had to call in the bank managers for them to ensure that the sales figures were accurate. And some of them, their sales figures went up by 50%.
50%?
50, since the closure of Petrotrin. The closure of Petrotrin has affected all the fence line communities in the southern community, not only San Fernando. And I think it has filtered up north, not by now, but not to that extent.
Mr. Singh?
Akash, while business has not been as best as we would like it, business people, the nature of a business person is to always complain that business could be better, we could have improvement in business, we want to see more customers come into a place to patronize the business. At the same time, what we see happening in San Fernando is that we are looking forward to a revival of business in San Fernando because we have the redevelopment of the waterfront coming on stream. We had several meetings with several representatives of the government, the San Fernando City Corporation, UDCOT, and the plans are very at advanced stage as to where this waterfront development could start.
We're talking about business at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, business at the moment.
Right, not in the future, because the waterfront project was on stream in 2015. 14, 15. I chaired that committee then. And we had reached a stage where we were just about to do the first phase of it. And what we were going to do was to sand the beach, the bathing area where a lot of retirees use.
But we're still talking about business, current business.
Current business.
Right, so again, we're going off there because, for instance, large sums of money would be deposited into accounts of those persons who were terminated at Petrotrin. That money went into the bank account, so that reflection doesn't exist. Last weekend, we had stores on High Street open Saturday and Sunday because of the month and the opening of schools. And this is doing extremely well in San Fernando.
Seasonal, though.
Yeah, pardon me?
No, I can confirm that because the Mohammed bookstore is next to my business place, which is a drugstore. And I'm on Main Street, High Street. And every day he would say, "Are waiting for the rush, are waiting for the rush."
Does the rush come?
The rush. He said the Friday, the rush came after lunch. And Saturday,
The rush came with the month-end salary that we're talking about, so it had to come.
But one thing,
the results, the facts that we have, business is doing extremely well in San Fernando.
The trend is changing now.
With that, because I would say businesses have to be creative so that there's a downturn. You've got to be able to manage your costs and find ways to keep your margins alive. When I look at Sierra Street, I look at how High Street is totally crowded with businesses. You come around Pointe-a-Pierre Road, businesses calling further up Pointe-a-Pierre Road. So San Fernando is healthy for businesses. Of course, there are areas like some parts of Coffee Street that need further development so that we can wake up businesses further in San Fernando. But I think San Fernando is beaming and doing well, and we welcome more businesses into San Fernando.
Just did a survey looking at the various malls, we call the malls on the outskirts, and we want to get an understanding where is High Street in the scheme of things. And the survey revealed that C3 Mall is number one, followed by High Street, doing the second highest turnover in business. So High Street continues to be.
I want to bring a point here. You have approximately 5,000 workers working about, say, like a mile and something from the city of San Fernando. Most of the employees who worked at Petrotrin live in and around San Fernando, and then those who worked in Petrotrin in, say, Palaseco and so lived on that end, most of them. You have laid off approximately 5,000 people. Each of them was said to have been earning around 30,000, 40,000 a month. When a man gets 30,000 a month, what does he do with it? He doesn't go to the bank and bank it. He goes to the shop, as he said. He buys in the parlor, and then he goes to the roti again, and they employ parlor people, employ 2 roti people, employ 3 people. They come down High Street, they shop, they go to KFC, wherever, and they spend the money. And that is where you provide commerce in a city. Now that 5,000 no longer exists. Where's that money? It's not coming in to spend, it's not filtering in. So obviously business will decline unless you have it coming from the sky.
We've heard the argument about businesses needing.
5,000 wouldn't be from San Fernando. The person that work as far as Port of Spain working in San Fernando.
The argument before about businesses needing to adapt. How much more could businesses adapt, or are they stretched to the limit now?
This is why I'm bringing the point. You do not have the purchasing power. So what are you going to buy? You get 3,000 a month, see, and now they cut you in half, 1,500. You will have to tighten that pocket. You are not going to be able to spend 1,500. When you spend an extra 1,500, you are providing jobs for the people. That's a fact of life.
Are you all seeing any massive layoff? I mean, if I lose 50%,
that's only 50. These people lost all their income.
Akash,
how are they recuperating that loss?
If I might add, but there has been some revitalization of business as we refer to High Street. I can speak to a couple stores expanding on High Street within the last couple of months, where they
Kieran,
employed
can you say
new
how
people.
many of your apartments in your building are vacant? Can you say that?
I don't have any vacant spaces right now.
That's not my information. And the mall that I am in, they have about 10 spots vacant. Not on the lower floor,
Not in a mall.
but on the higher floor.
That doesn't pertain to our
Second and
Plaza.
third, and that's main High
fully
Street,
occupied.
Scotia, Mohammed.
So what are you saying on your side?
Well, he is the biggest mall in San Fernando.
We are seeing an occupancy rate that is unheralded by others.
And people coming, I mean, people buying, people purchasing.
We have a full food court every day. We open Monday to Saturday. We have a very diverse sector of shopping. That's only clothes and phone accessories, which is the main.
But I know somebody managing a store in your mall and they turn over 50,000 a month. About 60,000% profit, 60% profit.
In that case, Daphne, what are your solutions to this problem that you see is arising?
Well, what we are hoping for, because the Prime Minister said, first of all, they had said that Petrotrin must close. Then there were some talks about somebody would have purchased it, etc. And that fell through with the Guaido story, whatever.
But why are we
And
doing
then
with
they said
Petrotrin?
73 people were interested in the purchase of Petrotrin. So it has boiled down to a few now, and we are just hoping that it would be sold or leased very soon to create that buzz again, employ people, and they would have purchasing power. When you have purchasing power, now there is a food court just upstairs in the same mall that I'm in, and they're now cutting their lunches. Instead of 25, 30, they're saying 15, half a lunch to accommodate what's going on.
Mr. Mayor, I know you sort of attributed to, why Petrotrin. Does this really show the far-reaching impact that the closure of Petrotrin has had?
Well, I am not sure that Petrotrin, because Petrotrin, you have the other agencies, other industries, you have the public servants who still live and work in San Fernando. I think one of the things we have to look at really at impact in San Fernando is the allocation of resources. It's not about Petrotrin, it's about San Fernando. And Petrotrin is the outskirts of San Fernando. Matter of fact, Petrotrin is not in San Fernando, or was not in San Fernando. At this point of
It's on the right on the outskirts.
So we're talking about the allocation of resources. And there's a peculiar dichotomy between Port of Spain and San Fernando. Port of Spain has 37,000 persons with $240 million allocation. And San Fernando has 56,000, which is, you said 51, is 56,000, our latest statistic. And we have 139 million to work with. And look at that gap. Then Port of Spain is supported by various state agencies and others supporting that can augment what they do. And we struggle in San Fernando.
So what can't you do with the resources you have now, and what would you want to do if given more resources?
Well, we want to manage more and have more resources will allow us to run and manage the city much better. So we have been very prudent in what we do. We're looking at maybe the advent of property tax may even assist.
Well, that's to generate revenue, but I'm talking about for the business sector in particular. How do you plan to increase?
Well, of course, there could be more. We could employ more people. We could provide a better service to the people based on physical infrastructure, and physical infrastructure drives the economy.
I think Daphne's point was that if revenue is dropping, it's kind of difficult to hire more people.
I'm not aware of that. There's no.
Well, you can do the maths. 55,000 multiplied by 30,000. That tells you how much less money is filtering into the communities. So you just do that quick math.
Well, this discussion is going exactly how I'd hope it would go. We need to take a very, very quick commercial break. When we come back, Mr. Singh will get back with your point, right?
Thank you.
Stay with us. Community Talk San Fernando.